Yes, my name is ChyTheGreatest, aka Chyna Willis. I'm a social media influencer, entrepreneur, dancer, actress, and personality. I started doing what I was doing when I was like back in middle school. I was about 13, 14 years old. And I kind of just continued and started to continue to grow my brand and just, get better. And yeah.
All right. So, when did you know that you had a strong passion for dance, and why did you decide to put yourself out in the eye of the public?
So I realized that I had a strong passion for dance when I literally, when I was younger, I was about 7, 8 years old. My mom used to take me to Cascade Skating Rink. We used to do dance competitions. I used to do dance competitions like with those little girls. And I also, it was one summer I went to New York and I actually won this like little dance competition trophy. It was at this little event. It was crazy. It was in New York. It was in Queens. I would never forget that day. So that's when I realized I had a passion for it. And a lot of people think I started, doing dance, but I started doing comedy on social media. And as soon as I, transformed over to dance just to try it out or to see how it would go, it did crazy numbers.
Before you went into the eye of the public, and before you got into the social media business, what was your life like before? Were you shy? Were you to yourself? Were you outgoing? What was your life like before you got into the social media platform?
So before I got big on social media, I was like pretty outgoing. I was a family girl. I used to always want to go to my cousin's house. I used to always play outside. I had a lot of friends. So I always was like this outgoing spirit that wanted to try new things. So
Last time when we spoke with the comedy, you said you started with Vine. So how was that like transitioning from Vine to Instagram and, growing your platform?
yes. So I started on Vine back in 2012, 2013. And I got inspired by, a lot of originals, King Batch, Summerella. And I kind of I never really got big on Vine. I probably had like 5,000, 10,000 on Vine. But I felt like I couldn't be entertaining in 6 seconds. It was too short. Like I needed longer. So after Instagram came out with video, that's when I kind of just took like the Vine ideas I had and remixed them to longer clips. So the transition was a little hard at first because I felt like a lot of people wasn't trying to do comedy on Instagram at the time. And if they was like, they was just like on the up and coming, so they wasn't as big. So um, when I transitioned, of course it was hard, but I feel like I got more engagement on Instagram than anything. So I was doing comedy. I gained about 10K, 15K on Instagram from doing comedy skits. Like I did a lot of, skit videos, comedy videos where I'll do like a lot of relatable videos, stereotypical videos. And it kind of just went from there. And so that's when later I had started to dance. Like I said, I could always dance when I was like 7 years old. So when I started doing trendy dances on social media, that's when my platform went to a whole nother level. I was going viral on World Star. I was going viral on Facebook. Like it was really, really big. So I felt like there was a cheat code for me. So everybody wanted, everybody was doing comedy or everybody wanted to see my comedy videos, but then it was like a whole nother world and a whole nother side. I wanted to see no dance. So I was like, shoot, I'll dance. I did that anyway. So let's do it.
And so, when did you notice that you had people watching you? When did you notice that you were starting to have an influence on people? Like, when did it hit you? And what was your reaction like?
So I noticed I had an influence on people when I was like in middle school, and it was just this upperclassman. Basically, I never seen her before. I never had a class with her before. And she was like, "Hey, like I see your videos, I'm saying, on social media. Like I think you're really cool, cute, don't you?" I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I didn't even know the girl. So that's when I was like, "Okay, dang, like this might be working." At first it was in my community, my county, my community. Then it started in my state, and then it started in different states, and it was just like a whole different ballgame.
So when you start transitioning into, becoming a public figure, mainstream influencer, What was that transition like for you when you started to realize that you couldn't really do the same things you could when you weren't as known? So, like going to the mall, you had to be a little more safe, you had to be a little more
Yeah.
cautious. What was that like for you transitioning?
When I was younger, I thought I was the best thing on the planet. So it definitely was cool to me, and it actually encouraged me to do more videos and to keep doing what I'm doing, and just keep striving for bigger, meeting bigger levels and meeting bigger, like different communities, different age groups, different ethnicity groups. So it definitely was an encouragement for me. But then it kind of started getting out of hand, where it would start getting annoying, or like, it just was like an elephant in the room, and I just be like, okay, I'm ready to go. Or I had people run up to me crying, trying to take videos with me, like following me outside the mall. Like, it got crazy as my platform continued to grow. But I kind of just prayed about it. I was like, God, I hope nothing crazy happens. But other than that, it was cool for me. It made me feel like what I was doing was right, or what I was doing finally started to matter.
When you first started, I know that people were coming after you, you were getting negativity and a lot of hate, especially being one of the original, influencers on the
Right.
platform with social media. How did you work past that? How did you get through hate and negativity, and, mentally, how did you get through that?
So, like I said, I started social media at a very young age, so it was very tough for me. I used to get cyberbullied all the time. It was even times where, I thought about committing suicide. I was crying myself to sleep a lot. And it kind of got overwhelming for me. I told my mom I didn't want to go to school anymore. I wanted to just do homeschool. So it was real overwhelming for me. But as I got older, I kind of realized that's what came with the territory. And I kind of realized, like, hey, this is what you asked for. This is the life that you wanted. So you have to deal with the naysayers and the opinionated people that don't even know who you are. So I started to look at hate as a good thing and a bad thing, kind of like a blessing and a curse. Cause it's like, well, if nobody hating on you, then you're not doing something right. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, as I got older, I kind of just accepted it for what it was, and tried to stop, explaining myself to people and saying, hey, you don't even know who this person is. This person never even met you a day in your life. This person don't know you from can of paint. You cannot, it's no way you can convince them that, you know what I'm saying? You can't convince them to not bully you or to not like you. You don't even know them. You just ignore it. You know what I mean? So I kind of started ignoring it, and I started praying about it. And then now it's like, you say something, you're just gonna get blocked. Like, like that's all it is to it. But yeah, I feel like it pretty much come with a territory. So I kind of just started to accepting it as like a bittersweet.
I know that after a while you did transition into things like YouTube, and I know that you do have two of your own businesses. What was the transition like for you from, being an influential content creator to being an entrepreneur and a YouTuber as well? What was that like for you?
Yes. So, me building my platform over time, I used to get a lot of views and a lot of engagement quickly, because that's what I built over time. And I knew I could monetize my videos. I knew I could get paid for promoting people product. And in my mind, I'm like, well, these people gotta be paying me for a reason. You know what I mean? So I kind of took a step back and was like, man, if they can sell stuff on my platform, I should do it too. So when I started selling stuff, at first it was kind of like merch, just little quotes and sayings of things I would say. I had a logo made especially for me. I used to put it on my shirts. And it was really, really hard. It was really hard to get people to buy my product, because it's like, you're doing videos for so long, and all people do is just click of a button, like just see your videos or DM you. Nobody ever took the time to go to the link in my bio, unless it was a YouTube video. Go to the link in my bio, figure out what they wanted, put their card information in. It just wasn't a thing. So people, I felt like some of my supporters were lazy a little bit. So I'm like, dang, like, what can I do? So I started kind of interfering, or intertwining my videos with my merch. So it was time where I'll just, put some merch on of mine that haven't launched yet, or that I thought about launching. And I'll just wear it to see what people say, see what kind of feedback it gets, or waiting for that, oh my God, where'd you get your shirt? So once people started doing that, I kind of started to learn how to market myself. So literally, it was a time where I would not even get a sale unless I wear my stuff. So I'm like, all right, I gotta learn how to market myself. And just like really promoting hard, man, it was times where I'll spend thousands of dollars on t-shirts and merch, and I would not get a single sale. So it was tough at first, but once you keep throwing stuff in people's face, just throwing it, they have no choice but to buy it. And I also feel like people start to look at you like, hey, like I respect this girl grind. Like, let me just do it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if you do something long enough, somebody gonna end up feeling you. They have no choice. Like you wear it every day, you're promoting every day. Like, why wouldn't they buy it? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And so also being someone that I know that you decided not to further your education just because of the fact that you were already pursuing your aspirations, you're already making money doing what you love. What was that decision like for you? Like at what point in your, academic career did you decide like, yeah, scratch that, I'm gonna go on my own lane? What was that experience like for you and that decision like for you?
So when I became like a freshman in high school, that's when I started, getting more views. My platform started to grow, and I would literally skip studying for tests to make a video because I knew I was gonna make money off of it. And this is really freshman year. I'm not even gonna say I used to make a lot of money off my videos. I didn't start really getting my videos didn't start really getting monetized until I was like 11th, 12th grade. So this is ninth grade I started doing this. And I kind of just realized that school just wasn't for me. I started failing in classes. I used to sleep in class. I ain't gonna lie. I used to fall asleep in class because I just felt like it wasn't for me. And don't get me wrong, I was a very smart individual. But as I got older, I started seeing it like, man, I'm not going to college anyway. I don't want to go to college. This is what I want to do. And I feel like my mom took it as me being rebellious or me putting all my eggs in one basket. But in my mind, I was limiting myself to a point where I was so invested in my brand and believing in my brand. I was like, I don't care. I'm not going to school. And I'm gonna make sure when I say school, college, I'm gonna make sure I won't even have to be able to go to college. That's how hard I'm gonna work on my brand. So when I hit 12th grade, as you know, 11th, 12th grade, you got to take the SAT and things like that. I said, I'm not even taking, to this day, I still haven't took the SAT. Like, I'm not taking no SAT.
Wow.
I said, I don't even want to put in my mind because the mind is a strong thing. So if you put in the back of your mind, I feel like me taking the SAT test or filling out college applications was me putting in my spirit, hey, well, if this failed, you're going here. No, no. Do it to a point where you have no choice at all but to go hard on this. And once I kind of started, putting that in my mind and feeding that to my spirit, that's when I was like unstoppable. I said, I'm finna monetize every single thing. I'm finna monetize everything. I'm gonna reach out to who I gotta reach out to. I'm gonna make sure I get, good content, good quality. Like it kind of made me a better businesswoman or a better influencer, entrepreneur, because it's like, I know what it takes to further your brand and not be stuck in one place. Like I know what it takes to go so hard on something that you believe in to a point where failing is not even an option, So, and of course, me graduating high school, my mom was really upset and sad about me not wanting to go to college, but she saw I had money coming in. I think I moved out my mom's apartment the first month after I graduated. She couldn't even say nothing. You can't say go to college. I'm done making boss moves. How you gonna tell me to go to college? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Juggling so many things and you have multiple businesses open, multiple platforms of income, does it ever get overwhelming, managing your time and your reputation? And do you ever feel or wish that you could go back to how you used to be and how your life used to be?
Man, absolutely. My life get overwhelming all the time, especially as I got older and I started believing in myself more. Because I used to have manager when I the very first time I started doing social media, I had managers and management, but me coming to a businesswoman and making mistakes early so that I can carry a brand or carry my platform to the next level on my own without handouts or without having a manager, looking over my money and, me cutting my money just for reading my emails or, so I had that at first, cause so I wasn't as stressed out, but this is when I was in school. So it's like I told you, that thing where I made sure I didn't have to go to college. After I graduated, I said, well, if I'm getting a manager and I'm getting all this and that, why am I, you know what I'm saying? How can I say it? If I'm getting a manager, why should I not go to college? Because I feel like management is kind of like part-time. So I was in school, so sometimes I didn't have time to juggle certain things because I just didn't have time. I had to go to school the next day. So after I graduated, I made it to a point where it's like I made it a full-time business. And at times I do get overwhelmed, but then I had to start telling people no. I had to start raising my prices. I had to start, you know, being so desperate for a piece of change. And I kind of had to start, you know what I'm saying, raising my stakes higher, or setting my brand to a higher expectation, more higher standard. So it's been times where, you know, I would turn down brands just because I feel like it didn't fit my brand. Instead of saying, oh my God, I need this money. It's like, no, have morals, take a step back, evaluate, figure out how is this adding to your brand, figure out why you think you should do this. So at first it was really hard. And to this day, I still have a hard time juggling my schedule with, you know, me doing so many meetings and interviews. It gets really overwhelming. But I know I gotta make my money. This is what I do full time. I treat this as a full-time job. So if I can't make something, I would just reschedule and try to fit it in my schedule as much as possible. And it's even been times where like I wouldn't even reply to some emails because I'm too overwhelmed. So I say, let me take a step back, let me calm down, let me knock out what I need to knock out. So after I started treating it as a full-time job, it just got easier and easier and easier. So yeah.